I was snowboarding with some friends, a little stick inside of the pillow that I didn't see. So I caught my board on it, and it just sent me 10 to 12 feet down to my head, like all impact to my head. Had a lot of concussions before, so to me it was like, this is fine, like I've been knocked out before, it's all good. But this one had such lasting effects that I don't like showing weakness, so I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone about these effects. But for a year and a half, I couldn't see out of my left eye. I started going down this path of like, what can I do to heal my brain? I looked up all these supplements, I read books, I watched hours and hours and hours of podcasts and YouTube and things like that. Started just trying to heal my brain, where I'm like, this isn't working anymore. Went down a lot of different paths. I tried psilocybin mushrooms because of the way that they can rewire your neural pathways in your brain and help with gray matter in your brain. Taking a bunch of different supplements too. Really the biggest thing that made a difference for me was,
how do we face the challenges that make us who we want to be? Today, I had the chance of sitting down with one of my best friends, Nick, and we had a conversation about life, his adventures, his fun, his head injury from snowboarding, and lots of other things. Dive into us deep with this episode. This is The Inward Mind. Welcome to The Inward Mind. This is Billy M. Ward, and I have one of my best friends from life, Nick, here. And we are just going to talk about whatever we want today and just kind of go whatever. I don't know. I love this dude. I love this dude a lot. Me and him have spent a lot of time together the last 10 years and just had a lot of fun. So, dude, I just want to ask you, because when I was talking to my last episode about network marketing and things like that, you're the one who led me and brought me to the meeting with network marketing and stuff like that. What is that process from network marketing? What have you learned from that to like grow to where you are now?
I mean, you nailed it on a lot of the stuff in your podcast last week about it, but network marketing for me opened my eyes to the ability of making more money than you could in a 9-to-5. That really was like the biggest thing, where I was like, all right, I can work a job and get a career and make comfortable 6 figures. And I had done that, and I was like, cool, I'll just repeat this for 30 years. And didn't realize that there could be a residual income that could be way more than that. And residual income was what kind of got me into it. And, you know, like you said, too, being in Utah, it's like the opportunity thing of network marketing. Like, I for sure will never do network marketing again, but I'm really grateful of what it taught me, of the potential that there is out there, how to network with people, how to grow an organization. I just honestly didn't have the leadership skills at the time to be able to make it last.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those things, like when we were in it, me and Nick spent thousands of hours doing stuff. Like we would be making phone calls and talking to people, trying to do the best that we can by that. But in the midst of that, like what is the experience? What is like a specific experience that you can remember that has grown you from network marketing? Like, was it a specific conversations and things, or is it like just the amount of trial and error and things like that? What do you think was the main thing that helped you grow within network marketing?
Trial and error for sure. You know, like being able to do solo meetings with like upwards of 50 people in the room. Like first ones didn't go good, you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually we even started like traveling to some cool places to do meetings and things like that. That just the ability of like being able to go on stage or like go in front of people and talk and influence people is really cool. And I think that one of the biggest lessons that I took from network marketing, whether it's like good or bad, is I destroyed my warm market. Like,
dude, for real.
They were just like harass everyone. If they tell you no, then like fuck them, keep going. Like,
yeah.
And I hated that part of it. That was the biggest takeaway, where you know, after I quit network marketing, I went into Best Buy and then quit Best Buy and got my financial advising license, and like did a little bit of schooling for that. And they're like, all right, start reaching out to your warm network to grow your finance portfolio. And I was like, no, I will do this cold. I will do it the hard way. It doesn't matter, because I'm not going to burn bridges to try to make myself successful. And it was never the intention of burning bridges to try to make myself successful. That's what it felt like afterwards, because I wasn't able to help anyone else have success. So, my biggest like takeaway from it is that like I need to prove that I can have success first before I can bring someone into something that I know, and not to burn bridges to do it.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree. That's one of the things I dislike most from doing network marketing is like, some people probably listen to this. Like it was same thing. Just like I tried to talk to everybody. I worked as hard as I could to talk to my warm, because that's what we were taught. It's like, you need to go after your warm. That's where you're going to get the most success, things like that. But I don't know. It just kind of goes back to when you're saying like the guilt behind like not having anybody else have success in that. And I think about that constantly. Like, well, why did these people not have success? I had a little bit of success at times, but like, why did I do that towards other people? So there's a little bit of like guilt within me for doing that for some other people. So I understand that 100%, but it's network marketing is a thing. It's its own thing. You live in Utah, people who don't live in Utah, it's just the culture here. It's like literally there's this place called the Wasatch Front where all these beautiful mountains are. Most network marketing companies across the country are here. They're based here.
All the beautiful people.
Yeah,
it's
just us beautiful people
like
here.
Hot moms that want a side job.
Yeah, I think that's how they get it. They get all the hot moms who want the side jobs. Yeah, dude, for real. But dude, I don't think I'd ever do network marketing again either. Yeah. But I've moved on to, like I've said in last episode, moved on doing video production and things like that. And if you want to know that story, go take a look at the last podcast. I think it's number 6. But kind of moving forward, like what is the process of what you're doing now? I know what you're doing, but kind of explain to everybody what you're doing now.
Yeah. So right now, I'm the owner and CEO of Kingdom Energy, and owner in Midas Wealth. So we're their sister companies. You had my business partner Cody on already. I run the solar side of things. So Kingdom Energy is a solar company. We've gone fully virtual, so we don't have to go knock doors or anything like that. That's how we started, which was almost worse than network marketing.
Door-to-door sales, that whole thing.
And now it's just virtual. So I've studied the online aspect of advertising, Facebook marketing, things like that. Super data-driven all the way down to the numbers of our cost per lead, to sit percentage, to close percentage, all the way to our average cost per sale, just to like have it as a science where we can just put money in and print money out basically. And that's the part that I manage. So I built all of our ads, all of our CRMs, all of our software, our AI. If you message us on Facebook, someone named Dean is not a real person that responds to you, but it'll give you everything you need to know, and he'll set an appointment for us. So it's pretty cool. But I've leveraged all of that side of stuff. And now Cody has stepped into our tax advising. Basically, we've onboarded an accounting firm that helps people get their additional tax credits for solar. So it makes solar make more sense. So It's always about what the fastest vehicle is, of how we can just get there the most efficiently. It's not like we're not super tied to like we need to sell solar. It's just like, all right, this is the best vehicle right now. And our sister company helps it make it a faster vehicle. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm involved with that sister company as well, doing some good stuff there. But kind of when you're talking about the vehicle of what gets you there fastest, what is that vehicle driving you towards when you're saying like this vehicle to get you fast? Maybe. $1 billion? I got another future billionaire on this podcast. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was just kind of pushing to see a little bit further because everybody has goals. And that's one of the questions I wrote down for this whole thing is like, why do you think people aim for the bare minimum? Because a lot of people that I try and surround myself with don't aim for that. Oh, I'm just here to work the 9 to 5. And like the people I keep in my inner circle, I'm not saying I wouldn't be around people like that, but what do you think people aim? Why do you think that they aim for the bottom? Failure sucks. Like failure's scary. And most people take failure as like absolute. It's like the end point, and it's not. It's like it's a stepping point. So I subscribe heavily to a philosophy of fail faster. That if you're not failing, you're not trying. It was kind of like buried into my head from my dad when I was a kid. I have this like core memory of riding my dirt bike, and I was riding it like all day, and I came in and I was just like, Dad, I'm so stoked. I'm getting better. I didn't wreck once. I was out the whole day, didn't wreck once. And my dad's like, what do you mean you didn't wreck once? What do you mean you're getting better? I was like, yeah, like I rode the whole day and then didn't even wreck. And he's like, that doesn't mean you're getting better. That means you're plateauing. If you're not wrecking, you're not trying. And I just like grabbed my helmet and I went back into the yard, put it on, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm still riding for the day. But like that has been ingrained into me where it's like, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. And it's always been my mentality.
Yeah. Do you think that that's what drives people is the fear of the failure? 100%. Because I know that growing up and going to public school and all that stuff, like everyone's like, you fail. It's the worst thing ever. And do you think that has started via schooling or mentality? But why do you think people are so scared of failure?
I mean, like, it's not fun. It's like, there's nothing fun about it other than what's next, right? That the process of failing, like it sucks. And a lot of people just can't endure the suck. Like it's one of those things that like it's really, really tough to do. And even like myself, like I've learned recently that I have to do little wins in life, because if I'm always setting big goals that I'm not achieving, then like you got to get a little dopamine hit every now and then and like keep the process going and keep you fulfilled in the journey, instead of just keeping the goal out there so far that you're never hitting. Like celebrating little wins is important. And like set big goals and don't be afraid to fail, but like celebrate where you got along the way. Like I'm really bad about beating myself up for not hitting the things and just like go harder. Yeah. It's not always the solution.
Yeah, dude, it's not the solution. That's funny that you and Cody said the exact same thing, because I asked that similar question. But yeah, the celebrating the little wins.
A lot of suck this last year.
a lot of suck. Dude, I get that 100%. But that's the one thing. People need to celebrate those little wins. Like, even if it's like, and I've kind of got to that point with me and Abby do that sometimes. We'll go get like a treat, or we'll go do something. It's like, oh, cool. I got a new client or did something good. Like we'll go to dinner. It's not like you have to just be like, oh no, I didn't hit my goal, so I'm just going to keep grinding and making my family hate everything about my life. Right. It's just a crazy thing to think about. We're going to transition a little bit over kind of talking about physical bodies and stuff. Cause a couple years ago you got into a pretty bad snowboarding accident. And
which one?
that is true. Which one? The one where you smacked your head pretty hard, right? And that kind of led some of the directions of concussions and things like that. So kind of talk about what you remember from that accident of snowboarding.
So that one specifically,
he can't remember.
So
he can't remember at all.
No, I was snowboarding with some friends. My now wife was there, Cody was there, a few of our other friends, and like decently good powder day. I decided to try to like air onto a pillow. If you've ever seen the pillows where like the snow accumulates on top of something. So I aired onto a pillow, did backside 180 to a switch tail press to then 180 out. And there was like a little stick inside of the pillow that I didn't see. So I caught my board on it, and it just sent me like 10 to 12 feet down to my head, like all impact to my head. And I don't remember the rest of the run, but I remember then laying down in front of the lift and just like out of it. And everyone's like, you okay? You okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Just let me rest for a second. And I still rode the rest of the day. Don't remember the rest of the day though. And I've had a lot of concussions before. So to me, it was like, this is fine. Like I've been knocked out before. It's all good. But this one had such lasting effects that I don't like showing weakness, so I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone about these effects. But for a year and a half, I couldn't see out of my left eye without it. Like I couldn't focus. It was shaky. It would make me dizzy. I had to like drive with an eye patch. Like it was crazy, and it felt like my memory recall completely went to shit. I was like this really smart dude that was learning all of this coding stuff and like everything else. And all of a sudden I just couldn't learn anymore. Like I was just capped, and it sucked. It especially made it really, really hard getting into a new industry, because I was new into solar at the time. I would be like knocking doors and I couldn't look someone in the eye because I was like, I literally couldn't focus on their face or it'd make me dizzy. So I couldn't see any of their like like features or anything like that. I'm trying to like distract by looking other places and can't knock in an eye patch. So it led me down a crazy path of like, I need to heal this. And I know that like you can't go to a doctor and have surgery on your brain, really. Elon's working on it, but like you can't like there's nothing you can do really for concussions. You know this firsthand with your subdermal hematoma that you had in high school, right?
Yep.
And so I started going down this path of like, what can I do to heal my brain? I looked up all these supplements. I read books. I watched hours and hours and hours of podcasts and YouTube and things like that. And started just trying to heal my brain where I'm like, this isn't working anymore. And went down a lot of different paths. I tried psilocybin mushrooms because of the way that they can rewire your neural pathways in your brain and help with gray matter in your brain. Taking a bunch of different supplements too. Really the biggest thing that made a difference for me was oxygen therapy. So I was doing like hyperbaric chamber sessions pretty often, doing breath work inside of them and things like that. And then eventually found this device called LiveO2, which is, it basically fills up this bag of oxygen. You exercise while wearing an oxygen mask, and it does altitude training. So it simulates like 10,000 feet altitude. At our altitude, it's simulating like 14,000 feet. So you exercise with it. It gets your body into a hypoxic state to where, like when you hear your pulse in your ears when you're on a hike or something. Yeah. So you start feeling that. That's because your body's in a hypoxic state and it's getting 6 times the regular amount of blood flow. So all your capillaries are getting opened up, everything else. And then you flip a switch and it simulates 4 times sea level oxygen. So you're getting 24 times the regular amount of oxygen to your brain as normal, because it's just pumping all this oxygen-rich blood through, and you cycle it a few different times. And I spent like $10,000 to buy one of these machines. I was like, I need one at my house because like this just isn't working anymore. How much money am I losing by not being able to work right and things like that? And that with like saunas and ice baths and things like that, I haven't had any concussion symptoms for like 6 months now.
Dude,
so it's been
that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah. I love to hear that, especially that's the thing is I understand how you feel to a deep level of like your brain's not working how you want it to. And
it felt like I was like, my life was like a video game on easy mode before, where like everything would kind of just happen for me. It was really cool. And all of a sudden it was like someone just turned the difficulty up to hard. And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. And you're sitting there, you're hard. It's almost legendary. And you're like, oh man, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to do here.
And I was like trying harder than ever to just do normal things and not succeeding at them. And it was the most frustrating thing in the world.
Well, second question here. Did the blurriness in your vision go away because of all the oxygen therapy? Dude.
So oxygen therapy, and I do red light therapy every single morning. And then I sauna a few times a week and ice bath every morning, which is mainly like, I've realized how much of it is oxygen related, right? Like when I get in an ice bath, it makes me like hyperventilate and forces breathing. And I think it's that more than anything. When I started doing some research, I realized that, or I learned that when you hit your head and basically your brain bruises, the area that was bruised dies off. Those capillaries never reopen and it never gets blood flow again. So other areas of your brain try to pick up the slack and do what that area used to do. That's why some people lose short-term memory or their sense of smell or like crazy things like that when they hit their head. And they did a study with this LiveO2 machine where they put like dye into people's blood and did an MRI, and they could see these dark spots in their brain. And then they had them do this session, and because all your capillaries open, you force oxygen blood into those parts of your brain, it reactivates that area to where even 4, 6, 8 months down the road, they would redo the MRIs with these people that only did like 1 or 2 sessions, and those areas are re-lit up where like it resumes normal function. Your brain's crazy that it can heal itself and like just get right back up even after like 10 years of not working. But it's just getting it reactivated.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. So my question is, because I had my head injury 15 years ago, so it was in 2009. Does there, I don't know, you might not know this, or you might know it, but what do you know there would be the impact if, say, I started to do oxygen therapy? Would I see immediate effects, or would that take a little bit longer for someone like me? Because I know my brain's probably healed from a lot of the issues that I've had, but I've had a couple concussions since that as well. But what do you think about that?
It might not be I would say for anyone, it's not going to be an instant thing. Like it's not going to be like I do one session immediately, I feel better. For someone who's had like a serious head injury, right? Like they've done it where they've tested people's like ACT scores before and after doing it, and their scores go up because brain function's higher. But and that's immediate. But for having like a serious injury that long ago, I would. Like, that's the reason that I got the machine. I was like, okay, it's been almost 2 years since my concussion. I have all these injuries still. I need to do this regular and make sure that it's lasting. And now I do it like once every other week. Like it's not super often. And I probably don't even need to because I haven't had the symptoms, but it like helps with a bunch of other recovery modalities and things like that, especially after that powerlifting comp I just did. It was like my body was fried.
Dude, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute.
But yeah, I mean, like they did a YouTube video recently too. I'll send it to you, where this lady had a concussion 20 years ago and then just started doing it, and is like crazy the differences she's seeing.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of curious because I've been living with this messed up brain from that head injury for 15 years. So I wonder if I do this, because when I got that head injury, I lost a lot of like short-term and a little bit of long-term memory, because brains are weird. They don't always work how you want them to. So it's like, I wonder if I'd get those memories back. Right? Because I used to be in French class and I used to be pretty good at it, but literally people who,
can't speak French anymore.
Couldn't speak French after that. But also when people speak French, I get a headache.
Oh.
And it's weird. And it's just super, it's strange. And I don't know why, but I'm kind of curious.
I
got to come over. We got to definitely try it.
I got a whole like lab in my basement now, basically a whole gym and like recovery center. My sister got a concussion like a month ago and had a migraine for 3 weeks straight before telling me.
Wow.
And then she told me, and she came over and I had her do 2 sessions where she'd do oxygen, then hang upside down on a inversion table, and sit in front of the red light. And the first session, she called me the next morning crying. She's like, I haven't had a headache for the first time in 3 weeks. Like, this is crazy.
Dude, that's epic, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it. We'll have to do it in the next couple weeks. I'm pretty busy this week, but dude, I'm excited to try it out because I've heard about it and we've talked about it. You sent it to me and all these things. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if it does work, because if it's worked for you, it's definitely probably going to work for me, because me and you compete about a lot and I think I'd win. I don't know how I'd win at this, but I would definitely win.
I want you to win at this, Billy. I want you to win.
I don't know. I don't know if my brain would feel different, because I was still a kid when all this happened. So I don't know if there's like things that are missing. I'm way interested. This
is the norm now, and it might not have to be.
Dude, yeah, for real. That's like, because that's the thing. I'm taking stuff like, there's a dietary supplement called Methylene Blue that my buddy Ryan, who's on the podcast, he told me about, and he has a whole podcast about like natural remedies and stuff. And he goes, him and his buddy do a really good job on this podcast. But they told me about this stuff called Methylene Blue, and I was like, all right, it's supposed to help you produce more ATP within your mitochondria, all of this cool stuff. And I was like, cool, I'm going to take it and see if that has any effects on my brain. And that's worked really well. That's helped me, especially with like my focus, especially with all the things that I'm trying to do, help me to stay focused when I need to stay focused. So yeah, I bet you it would work. Circling back, bodybuilding competition. Let's talk about that, dude. My
wife's the bodybuilder now.
Well, yeah, his wife is awesome. She's really like, let's brag about her a little bit. What competition did she win? Because she went to
most recently was the Steve Carr Classic down in Vegas. So she got the double overall champ. So she was in the novice class and in the open class and got overall in both of those. So out of all the heights and weights for bikini. So now she's 4-time qualified to go get her pro card, which she's working on right now. So cool. Bulk season.
Before you have to cut it back down. What is a pro card? What does that entail? Does that do like, is that just for better competitions, like potential more money opportunities? What does that go to?
I think not 100%, but I think that you're not allowed to like make money in the sport, like be paid for winning, unless you have a pro card. So you would get like actual prize money for winning, cool. Instead of just paying to do it. It opens a lot of doors for sponsors and things like that. You get to put little NPC Pro on your bio on Instagram. So that's pretty cool.
That's the Instagram bio.
I think more than anything though, like I'm like, how cool to just say that you were a pro athlete at one point in your life. Like that's fucking awesome. That was
always a dream of mine, to be a pro athlete and all that thing. Like I'm a 49ers fan. So them losing the Super Bowl was terrible. But that's, I was talking to Abby about this, like this after the Super Bowl loss. Like I wanted to be a pro athlete, but I'm not built to be a pro athlete in any, like I played football and I played rugby and I did track. And not any single one of those was like good enough to be a pro athlete. So like I always wanted to be a pro athlete. That's so cool that she's getting to the point where she's like, cool, she's officially a pro. We're gonna have her on the podcast. I've just made that decision. We'll have her talk about the competitions and other things like that. Yeah. But dude, I'm super happy. I'm glad that Maddie's doing great. But now let's go over to your bodybuilding competition, because this is something that you talked about doing. Powerlifting. Make sure we get this right. But you talked about doing powerlifting competitions when we used to hang out a ton. We were doing network marketing stuff. So we'll talk about your process of doing the powerlifting.
Yeah. So when we were doing network marketing, it was bodybuilding.
Okay. So I'm getting that's why I'm getting them mixed up. All right. Gotcha.
Where you heard me complain so many times about how full I was because I was trying to get the gains. And bodybuilding for me, I had a lot of body dysmorphia. I was a scrawny dude. I like 6 foot, 135 pounds, so small. And went through that bulk phase where I'm just like, all right, I'll eat 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day every single day.
Drinking ice cream. I remember those stories.
Or the chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Gallon of chocolate milk a day.
Yeah.
It was easy 3,200 calories. So yeah, I went through that of just like, I'm not going to make excuses and say that I'm a hard gainer. Like that doesn't matter. I'll just work harder. And I put on like 50 pounds in, 4 months, got decent size. And then like, there's this quote that's from Dom Mazzetti, the OG. Yeah. Pro Science. That's the day you started lifting is the day you became forever small. And I'm I put on so much size and I still like hated how I looked, and like the body dysmorphia was crazy. And so I stopped doing like the bodybuilding stuff, kept working out, but stopped trying to work towards a bodybuilding show, and then just started like doing random little competitions that would like give me a little jab of like compete to, be fit. So like triathlons and marathons and like things like that. And it was for a long time endurance based because I have a bucket list thing of doing an Ironman. So I just don't want to do that until I can dedicate like full-time job worth of time to it.
It takes that much time. Yeah.
And then recently with Maddie's success, she's like, come do a bodybuilding show with me. Like go through prep, everything else. And I was like, no, I swore off bodybuilding, but I've never been strong. Like never like actually gained a lot of strength. I put on a decent amount of size, but I've never been like strong. So I was like, I'll do this. This will be like a really cool CrossFit, or you could do strongman, or you could, take that into so many other areas. And I just want to have old man strength when I'm old, like you never lose that shit. It
no, for real, dude. My dad is still buff, and he used to be throwing beers onto semi trucks by hand. So, but he's anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just a base that I wanted to build and keep forever. So I set a goal of, I was like, all right, I'm going to do 1,000 pound big 3 in a comp. So signed up for the soonest comp, which was probably a bad idea. Hired a coach, started training my ass off, and like did not realize, because I was like, I can train 6 days a week, 7 days a week. That's fine. I've been doing that like bodybuilding style workouts for a while, like no problem. And it's not the case with heavy lifting. Like your CNS just like shuts down, and you can only lift like 4 days a week. It's crazy. Like even going on a hike on an off day was like tough for me. So probably should have given myself more time. Made a lot of rookie mistakes in my comp, but got through it. Happy that I got through it, and will for sure be doing another one. Still working with my coach to get me to the 1,000 pound number. I missed it by a little bit.
Dude, it's all right. It's all right. Not all of us. 1,000 pounds is a lot for three lifts. It's bench, squat, and deadlift, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot, dude. That's still. I think about that all the time. Like maybe me in my prime could get that, but it would take me a while to get back to that level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm close right now. I did some little rookie mistakes in the comp, like I said.
Yeah.
Didn't have proper nutrition, cramped up, things like that. Missed squat depth on an easy squat, and that sucked. So just little things, but it was just the learning experience of it and like training for something. And honestly, like an actual competition wise, like it's the longest, even like only training for 3 or 4 months, that like my triathlon, I gave myself 3 weeks.
Dude.
Like, so it takes a while to put on strength, I've realized. And it's been a fun switch up in the journey. So I'm going to continue to do that through the rest of this year and see if I can blow that number out of the water at the end of the year.
Yeah, dude, let me know when your competition is. I want to come watch. I love powerlifting. And
it's fun.
It's a fun thing, dude. But man, we have gone over so much in this podcast, but I just want to thank you for coming on and
all over the place.
Dude, it's what I like. I'm not to the point where I'm a Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan show, can bring on massive. I just think everybody, that's why I started this thing, is I think everybody has a good story and people can gain so much from the knowledge of other people that aren't just famous people. Right. So that's why I started this podcast. And I'm happy that you've been on. And dude, I really appreciate you coming on.
Me.
Yeah,
appreciate
dude.
you. I love you.
Yeah, dude. Love you too, man. This is The Inward Mind. Have a good day.